Hello everyone, this is John Blackstone. I'm making a very quick video today because I just learned that one of my favorite artists in the world passed away. And I'm talking about Dame Patricia Routledge. She is the actress who played Hyacinth Bucket or Hyacinth Bouquet in the legendary BBC comedy Keeping Up Appearances.
The Bouquet residence, the lady of the house speaking.
Let me just start by saying, if you've never seen this show, do yourself a favor and check it out. It's absolutely incredible. Easily in the top 5 favorite television comedy sitcoms I've ever seen. And that's saying a lot, and I mean it. Anyway, Dame Patricia passed away today, and I wanted to just say a couple of quick words about her. She was from Liverpool. She was like a war baby. She was born in 1929, and so she was a baby when England and Liverpool were being bombed out. And I've always wondered if Paul and Ringo and the guys in the Beatles, if they liked Keeping Up Appearances and if they were aware of Patricia. In fact, there is a little bit of a Beatles connection. Dame Patricia was a supporter and campaign ambassador for the Yoko Ono Lennon Center at the University of Liverpool, where a green room was named in her honor in recognition of her achievements and contributions. So even though you might not know who she is, was a legendary actress, a Shakespearean actress. She was a comedic actress on stage and screen. If you check out her Wikipedia page, it's incredible the things she's done. Just brilliantly talented singer, comedian, just one of the greatest of all time. And I'm just wanted to pay tribute to her, and I couldn't think of a better way to do that on my channel than to share her Desert Island Discs broadcast from the BBC when they invited her to do the show. Even if you don't know who she is, if you listen to this, you will get a sense of what a lovely and talented and brilliant person she is. So this is for you, Dame Patricia. God bless you. Thank you for all the laughter and the joy you've given me in my life. God bless you.
Why, what's wrong with Daddy? Why should I sit down, dear? Is Daddy in trouble again? Well, I should like to speak to him. Why is that difficult? Because he's dead. Daisy! What have you done with Daddy? Have you been careless with him?
My castaway this week is an actress. 3 years ago, she was voted the nation's favourite actress, thanks to her performances as those two redoubtable dowagers of the BBC's television schedules, Hyacinth Bucket, pronounced Bouquet, and Hetty Wainthropp. The roles in which she's found such success disguise the depth of her craft. At Stratford in Shakespeare, at the National Theatre in a musical such as Carousel, or in sensitive portraits like Alan Bennett's Talking Heads, she's displayed her effortless versatility. But she knows how much of a disguise it all can be. The essential you comes out, she says, because you're vulnerable up there, whatever big hat you've got on. She is Patricia Routledge. Do you still feel vulnerable, Patricia, after all these years of being up there?
Oh, yes, because every time you appear in front of a camera or walk out onto a stage, for me it's like the first time, even night after night. When you put your hand on the handle of that door, it's an unknown quantity, however much you've rehearsed.
Because it's always different when you get out there, or because it's always the performance and you're always properly nervous?
Yes, that's correct. And the audience is an unknown quantity. And you have to share an imaginative experience with the audience, and you hope that they're going to receive it.
So you must never get complacent is really what you're saying a guiding principle is in all of this?
Well, I don't think it's possible to, really. It's all a bit nerve-wracking.
You might never have done it, though, of course. You might have been a headmistress. Let me quote you to yourself. I always intended to be a go-ahead headmistress in a red sports car who had romances all over Europe in the holidays.
That's right. What went wrong, I wonder? Something went wrong.
Oh, what went
but
right?
That was great relief to my father, I must say. That
He wouldn't have liked you to be a headmistress?
Oh, no, he didn't want me to go into teaching at all.
Why not?
Because I would become stuffy and opinionated.
But it's interesting, isn't it, that a lot of the characters you've played have been... Well, they've had something of the headmistress about them, I suppose.
Oh, yes. Well, they're the most interesting people, really.
What, the bossy
Strong-willed, the bossy ones. Yes. I think compliant goodness is very difficult to play.
What about Hyacinth, though? She's pretty monstrous.
Oh, she's an absolute monster. Absolute monster, and I enjoyed playing her enormously.
Did you like her?
I didn't like her, but I had to find out, really, what made her tick. I think that's what you have to do.
What did make her tick? I mean, she's just sort of riddled with social pretension.
That's right, that's what made her tick. But also, coupled with that, was her aim for everything to be right and to be the best, which is a good thing. Mm. It got out of hand, obviously, in that she had to be above the Joneses next door. But she was vulnerable. She was always getting it wrong and slipping on the banana skin and then coming back and flying the flag again.
Tell me about your first record.
My first response to classical music was through hearing Tchaikovsky's music. We did a little operetta at my school which used a lot of Tchaikovsky music, and I loved it. I'd like to hear something from Tchaikovsky's Symphony No. 4, conducted by Leonard Bernstein.
The New York Philharmonic Orchestra, conducted by Leonard Bernstein, playing part of the third movement of Tchaikovsky's Symphony No. 4 in F minor. You worked with Bernstein back in the 70s, didn't you, Patricia?
Yes, I did. I was chosen by him to play 8 First Ladies of the White House in a celebration of the bicentennial of the White House, which was called 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Mm-hmm. It was a disaster. We opened on a Tuesday night and we closed on a Saturday. But I wouldn't have missed it for anything. Mm. I mean, not only was he a great composer at his best, but he inspired wonderful performances. I'll never forget the orchestra call. We had the creme de la creme from the students of the Curtis Institute in Philadelphia. Now, usually, an orchestra call for a musical is 2 sessions of 3 hours each, 6 hours. We had 3 days, and I sat in on the whole thing, and it was like a master class. It was wonderful.
I think some people forget you can sing. I mean, we were reminded of it not long ago when you did Carousel and sang, of course, Junie's busting out all over, and You Never Walk Alone, of course.
That's right, the great number.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Might you have had a singing career? Or
well, that
rather
was
than
very much career? On the cards long ago, because I found that I had this voice and was in the school choir and a church choir. But I wanted, of course, to teach English, this wonderful language we all abuse and misuse. And so I went to the University of Liverpool, to read English for 4 years. Mm. And so it was late, to make a start for another 3 years training.
So when you were small, I mean, at your primary school and your junior school, you were acting then?
Yes, all the time. I can look back now and see how it all came about. I mean, I was always the one who was chosen to be Christopher Columbus discovering America or Alice in Wonderland. And I used to be asked to, if there was a minute to go before 4 o'clock, and no teacher wasted time in those days, I was asked to say a poem by Walter Delamere, say, and I'd get a penny for it. And I remember thinking, why aren't the other little boys and girls doing this? And I decided they were all lazy. I didn't think there was anything special. It was all part of education.
But you probably thought everybody could do it. It was
yes,
just
I
that
did.
You did it more than most.
That's right. You're absolutely right.
But apparently you were quite disruptive at school.
At a certain time, yes, I was, in the 13, 14
What did you do?
period. Well, I could disrupt a class with gags and things in no time. And the teacher would turn round and it wouldn't be me, you see. But all these other rather weaker spirits would have gone by that time.
But you've been able to wipe the smile off your face quick enough to look innocent.
Yes, a little alarming, really. Yes, a little alarming. Yes.
But you weren't disruptive at home. You were a good girl.
Oh, very, very. I knew what was good for me, you see.
What would have happened if you'd been a bad girl, then?
Oh, well, I wouldn't have been heavily punished, but there was a tremendous sense of discipline at home, you know, a very loving atmosphere, but you knew your place, actually.
Speak when you're spoken to?
Yes, indeed, at family gatherings, when Grandad and Nana were there and uncles and aunts round the table. Yes, I listened a lot to the grown-ups.
I see.
Came in handy later on, I suppose.
Record number 2.
I do think Gustav Holst is a composer of genius, this man who taught music at St Paul's Girls' School. And he wrote a piece that could have been written yesterday, The Planets, in which he encompasses the character of as many of the famous planets as possible. And I'd like to hear Jupiter, the bringer of jollity.
The Boston Symphony Orchestra, conducted by Seiji Ozawa, playing the opening of Jupiter, the bringer of jollity, from Holst's Planet Suite. And memories for you, Patricia Routledge, of concerts at the Liverpool Philharmonic Hall.
Yes, that is where I used to go as a schoolgirl and a student. And I loved it.
Liverpool, of course, much bombed in the war. Do you remember?
Oh, yes, we were still there on the Birkenhead side of the River Mersey. And it got several peltings, as you know. I suppose I'm lucky to be here, really.
And the big bombing, of course, in 1942.
Was the docks and the customs house in Liverpool. That was a terrible night. But on our side of the river, it was known as the night that the Argyle Theatre burned down, which was the variety theatre in the town.
And that's where you went. Was that where you saw your first theatre?
Yes, it is. I mean, I wasn't old enough when I used to listen to my parents and grandparents discussing the quality of the music hall bill the previous week. They went every week. It was really the heart of their entertainment. Very important place. If you were on the way up, you would appear at the Argyle Theatre, Birkenhead. If you were right at the top of your profession, like Rob Wilton, you would appear there. If you were on your way down, you would appear there. It was run by 2 Clark brothers. And my father used to allow the theatre to hang their bill on the side wall of his emporium. Edgar Routledge, high-class gentleman and outfitter.
High class, of course.
Of course, you were always high class in the North. And don't you forget it. And for that privilege, he was given 2 complimentary tickets for the first house on a Monday, the unexpurgated edition.
Tell me about his shop. Was it all, mahogany counters and sliding glass
shelves?
A little bit.
Yes, a little bit. It wasn't enormous, but it was properly managed and solid.
And he with a tape measure round his neck?
That's right, yes.
Were you allowed in?
I was allowed to play on a Sunday with the socks and the ties, but not with the white collars.
Might get dirty
and
finger
everything,
marks
you see,
on them.
was parcelled.
Yes.
Everything was parcelled meticulously with slip knots. And so there was a great ritual about presenting the goods then, which he loved, you see. Little touch of drama there.
And when you went to the pictures on a Saturday afternoon in Birkenhead as a teenager, who did you see? Who did you admire? Who did you want to be?
Well, 60 Glorious Years I saw for a penny. That was Anna Neagle, wasn't it, about Queen Victoria? And Gracie Fields, of course, adored her. Jeanette MacDonald and Nelson Eddy. The musicals, you see, interesting.
And Alistair Sim, I think you admired.
Alistair Sim, when one got a little older, he was making the Ealing comedies. And we used to go, a group of us from school, and I remember we always wanted Alistair Sim as an uncle and Margaret Rutherford as an aunt.
You worked with him, haven't you?
Yes, I went to Chichester in 1969 in order to work with him. He wanted me to play his wife in Pinero's The Magistrate, and that was Alistair at his peak. Absolutely at his peak. joyous time it was.
But if anybody had told Patricia Routledge, aged 15, of Birkenhead, that she would one day work with this man on the screen, amazing.
Yes, I couldn't believe it. I mean, when I was rehearsing with him, I just couldn't believe it.
Record number 3.
Remembering how important the Argyle Theatre, Birkenhead, was, and that the first visit that I paid there was when Rob Wilton headed the bill. I would like to hear Rob Wilton performing back answers. Now just listen to this for timing and precision.
I'm subject to colds and they make me quite deaf, and then I can't hear what you say. A fellow once asked me if I'd have a drink, and I heard that with a cold, by the way. As we drank, we got chatting of girls we had met. I described a sweet bird dressed in red. My description was good, and my pal went half mad. It was the girl he was going to wed. He said, I'll punch your head. I said, whose? He said, yours. I said, mine. He said, yes. I said, oh.
Rob Wilton and back answers and memories for you, Patricia, of the Argyle Variety Theatre.
Wonderful. And that pianist, you see, is equally brilliant. That accompaniment.
It's wonderful. But I think that whole background that you've described and all of that music hall and so on, that North Country respectability, as it were, goes a long way to explain why you're so brilliant at those Alan Bennett characters. A woman of no importance, Miss Fozzard finds her feet, a woman of letters. They are all classic northern women of a certain age, aren't they? And you've got a direct line to them, it seems.
Yes, I remember them, you see, as a child. I did observe a lot. And, I mean, the Methodist Church was full of them, really. And so there's a residue left inside me.
Because Alan
with great
Bennett,
pleasure, of course.
Alan Bennett's always said that they were his aunts. He observed his aunts.
Yes.
Of course, he was Yorkshire, you were Cheshire, Lancashire, so on. But it's the same.
But we share a kind of common denominator of a rhythm of language and an appreciation of North Country idiom and colour and humour.
So he says that you elevate his... He writes in that sort of cliché... Well, how dare I say Alan Bennett writes in a cliché form?
Well, I have said that he turns cliché into poetry, and he does.
He does.
He does use clichés,
Yeah.
and they come thick and fast, but it's the pattern of that and the use of them
And the
which is
syntax
so
of it, it's the arrangement of it, it's that noun pushed to the end, isn't it?
That's right.
Came over here.
It's the rhythm. I mean, in all comedy, rhythm is very, very important,
But
as
what-
you've just heard,
Quite.
you know, with
The
Rob
timing,
Wilton.
Yes. But what you bring to it on top of all of that and that innate understanding of where it's coming from are all those facial gestures as well. And I wonder if those are particularly northern or not, those sort of slight sort of double chin well.
I don't know what my face does. I don't know what
Well,
it
your
does.
eyebrows go up and your chin goes down.
Oh, does it? Oh, dreadful. Dreadful.
No, it's that sort of... Well,
It's
how dare I again?
It's
try
the
to impersonate
knowledgeable wryness, is it?
Exactly. And it's
Yes.
that judgmental stuff. It's
yes.
that, they
Oh,
think
yes.
they're fooling
well, that's
me,
always
but they're
very
not.
amusing.
Yes.
Yes, we're
But is
very
it,
good at that up there.
it is northern, isn't it?
Well, I think it's shared everywhere in a way, but we do it better than anybody.
I suppose there's a bit of
Something
it in
to do
Hyacinth.
with the nonconformist background.
Do you think?
You know, I think so, yes. And the North Country work ethic.
And,
You justified your existence by hard work.
and knowing what's good for you and knowing
That's
what's
right. That's right. I'm a war baby. I don't leave a plate with anything on it. Eat up, eat your grub.
You keep bits of string in the back of the drawer.
Oh, yes. Don't throw anything away.
But interestingly, when Alan Bennett first approached you with the very first one he ever wrote, and he wrote it for you, A Woman of No Importance, for television, you thought...
Well, I said it wouldn't work. He was extremely patient. I said it wouldn't work, you know, that people would switch off in their thousands. And he said, well, look at the newsreaders. They don't switch off for them. And I said, well, they're always cutting to atrocities and other pictures. But he persuaded me to do it, and I took a deep breath and did it.
He was right, wasn't he?
Yes. What he said was, if you've got a good story to tell, people will listen. And, of course, this has been true down the ages.
next record?
If I was on my desert island, feeling a little bit down, I would love to hear the voices of the St. Paul's Cathedral choristers singing For the Beauty of the Earth, set by John Rutter.
The St. Paul's Cathedral choristers singing For the Beauty of the Earth with the City of London Sinfonia, conducted by John Scott. So if you've got a good script, Patricia Routledge, you're a wee way down the track. You rehearse and you rehearse, eventually you get out on the stage and it works. That must be an enormous sense of power.
I don't know, you make it all sound so easy and as though it goes step by step in the right direction. It doesn't, of course. I mean, there are lost hours of sleep if you can't seem to get it right. This text tells you everything, and to stray from that courts disaster, I think. I mean, there are too many young, smart Alecs now who decide to put a concept on a piece. And it's not honest. And B, I think it takes an audience in the wrong direction.
Mm. Because if the writing's good, then it will dictate your timing of the delivery?
Well, yes, it tells you. You know, with Bennett... with Restoration Comedy, with Wilde, the shaping of the sentences tell you which direction you're going in.
But you've got to get the breathing right, haven't you?
Oh, yes. Well, I'm concerned with the play at the moment, the importance of being earnest, and thank God for singers' breathing, really, because the cadences are very broad, and the dependent clauses, you know,
Can you give me an
need
example?
Support. Oh, well, hang on a minute. Apprised, sir, of my daughter's sudden flight by her trusty maid, whose confidence I purchased by means of a small coin, I followed her at once by a luggage train. Her unhappy father is, I am glad to say, under the impression that she is attending a more than usually lengthy lecture by the University Extension Scheme on the influence of a permanent income on thought.
Breathe.
Breathe.
So how do you do that? Do you sit down and think, now this is where I'm going to breathe? Or do
No,
you...
you don't sit down. I mean, we've got nothing else to think about. We rehearse all day. People say, how do you do it? But we've nothing else to think about. You turn up at 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock and that's your business through until 6 o'clock to get it right.
And if you do it well, you get the laugh, because, as you say, it's written well. That's very heady stuff.
Oh, it can be heady stuff, yes. Yes, it can go to your head too. But I don't approve of self-indulgence. Look at the way Rob Wilton didn't hang about, you know.
So you're listening all of the time to get the timing
There's one
right.
part of your brain which
Yes.
hears the coughers and the laughers out there, and another part of your brain which is doing it as you want to do.
And are you thinking, good, that went well, right? And
Well,
it lifts you.
you're in trouble if you're thinking that, really. But it's on a good night. We had a wonderful audience last Saturday, and it was like being on a trampoline. They just supported you. It was like skiing and going over the next little bump. It was wonderful. We all felt this.
And when it isn't going right, it's like...
Well, the danger is that you work it too hard. You've got to hold on to your original intention, really. Tell the story. That's what it's about.
Number 5.
I remember coming back from touring pre-Broadway with the first musical I did in America. And we'd been on the road. I think everybody ought to be in an American musical on the road. It really separates the men from the boys, and you find out what stamina you have. And we came into New York on a Sunday from Boston, and I set myself up in my hotel. And I'd made a young friend in the company, and he said, "Come round and I'll fix supper for you." I went round to his little apartment, and while he fixed supper, he put on Shostakovich's Symphony No. 5, and I had never heard Shostakovich before. I'm talking now about 1967. And I was completely bowled over by it and made him play the whole thing over again straight away.
Part of Shostakovich's Symphony No. 5 in D minor, performed by the Moscow Philharmonic Orchestra, conducted by Kirill Kondrashin. And memories for you, Patricia Routledge, of being in New York, where you were in, I think it was 67, wasn't it, with Darling of the Day?
That's right.
You won a Tony. But they'd fallen for you, I think, the Americans, a couple of years before that, when you'd gone over with a piece called How's the World Treating You. You must... I mean, they know you, they loved you. A long time ago, you must have been wooed by American producers.
Yes, I was taken out to smart lunches and offered television series. And you'd say to these cigar-smoking producers, "Well, have you a script to show me?" "Oh, no, we just got this idea, Miss Routledge. Anything that you suggest, you know." And the next minute, when you got onto the pudding, you'd realise that they would want you to sign up for 5 years with no evidence on the page, you know? Extraordinary. I mean, there is a certain act of faith you've got to make when you say yes to a sitcom series, for instance, but it's nice to see 4 out of 6 scripts, if you possibly can, but to see no script at all.
So what did you say?
I said, "Well, I don't think this is going to work out for me at all, and I think I want to go home." "Miss Routledge," one fella said, "do you mean to say you don't want a villa in California and a swimming pool and a little beach hut in Malibu?" And I said, "Frankly, no. Not on these terms, no. I want to go home."
So you did. How very sensible.
So I did, but I went back. I've performed in New York several times and in Los Angeles once, Washington and so on, and I've made a lot of very good friends over there.
Record number 6.
I couldn't be on a desert island without hearing a beautiful singing voice, and among the most beautiful that must ever have been is Dame Janet Baker, a very, very great instrument and consummate artistry. I couldn't be on a desert island without Elgar's music, and so I'd like to hear Dame Janet singing The Angel from The Dream of Gerontius.
Dame Janet Baker as the angel, singing softly and gently from Elgar's Dream of Gerontius. Very much, Patricia Routledge, a meditation on the immortality of the soul. Your religion is obviously very important to you.
Yes, it is important to me. I think there is a spiritual dimension to life, and even though one attempts during one's youth and even later to kick it over, there's always been a pull.
You've gone as far as to say that acting is, in a sense, a form of prayer. Can you explain that?
Well, you offer yourself up, really. You strip away, even though you appear to be hiding behind a persona. You strip away, at its best, the coverings and get to the core, really.
You've also, I think, had very much your fair share of bereavement. Your mother died when you were in your 20s, I think.
Yes, and I was very, very close to her.
And then your father's second wife, your stepmother, died later on.
Yes, of whom I was extremely fond.
And then your father and latterly your brother.
Yes, that's right. So you wake up one day and you are nobody's child. I think Harold Nicholson said that.
You must have given a lot of thought to death then over the years.
Yes, I remember long, long ago when I was about 13, and I was reading Lorna Doone. I never finished it. And Lorna Doone has very dark atmosphere. And I remember going through a time when I thought about my mother and father not being there. And I would lie awake at night weeping. So in a way I came to terms with the fact of loss very early on, really, and think of it daily. It's the one great fact of life, is it not?
Still, today you think of death
Oh,
daily?
yes. Oh, yes. I think one has to embrace it in order to live in the present.
Record number 7.
The Amadeus Quartet with Robert Cohen, who's an extra violoncello for this piece, playing the Adagio from Schubert's String Quintet in C major. Perfectly formed music.
The Amadeus Quartet with Robert Cohen playing part of the Adagio from Schubert's String Quintet in C major. So let's get you off to this desert island, Patricia. Do you think you'll like it there?
Oh, yes, I like it. I won't be very practical to begin with. I'll sit about and think a lot. A bit of a dreamer, you see. And I shall be perfectly happy in my own company for quite a while.
What will you miss most?
My fax machine.
Why?
Which is how I can get in touch with people. I'm one of the world's great faxers. Did you not know that?
Haven't got onto email yet.
No. I'm still on the nursery slopes.
And let me just ask you this finally. Were you to be able to have somebody else with you on this island, and you can't, which of the characters you've played would you choose? Which of them could you bear to be alone with for possibly a very long time?
Beatrix Potter.
Why Beatrix Potter?
I would learn so much from her, and she'd help me with the practicalities of living there. We'd probably get across each other, because she was quite a stubborn old bird. But the Routledges came from Cumbria, and she had North Country blood in her.
And she might write you a good script.
She might write me another nice little story.
Last record.
I must have the piano, and I shall always remember the tremendous joy and privilege of hearing Alfred Brendel last year at the Cheltenham Festival, working his way through the 5 Beethoven piano concerti within the space of 5 days. And 2 evenings he played 2 concerti in the one concert.
Alfred Brendel playing part of the second movement of Beethoven's Piano Concerto No. 5 in E-flat, The Emperor, with the Chicago Symphony Orchestra, conducted by James Levine. Well, Patricia, if you could only take one of those 8 records, there's a difficult choice.
Oh, what a dastardly question. I thought it was going to be The Dream of Gerontius, but it's going to be the Amadeus Quartet playing Schubert's String Quintet in C major.
Why have you changed?
It's perfect, unadulterated, wonderful music. Such peace and trust and submission, contentment. It's wonderful.
What about your book? You've got the Bible, you've got Shakespeare.
Well, I would like the most comprehensive publication of poetry in the English language. So that includes Robert Frost and Emily Dickinson and Longfellow and some Americans.
And if you could only take one poet, you're not really supposed to have an anthology. Breaks the rules.
Oh,
I'm very
well,
reluctant
let's break the rule. One poet.
Yeah, go on.
On top of my Shakespeare.
Yes.
John Donne.
And your luxury?
A tea-making outfit with 2 china cups and saucers, because somebody would turn up at some time, and silver teapot, and every known possible tea.
Patricia Routledge, thank you very much indeed for letting us hear your Desert Island Discs.
Thank you.